Yo, peep this. Just because you don't know about something does not make it wrong or make it not true. What I mean by that, first off, we need to know as our people, so-called blacks, we are really the Hebrew Israelites. We need to know that. We need to know that just because they told us that we just poofed out of thin air and was in Africa, they don't never tell you that we got there because we had to flee from Israel in 70 AD because the Most High was telling them that the Romans was coming to tear Israel up. So they had to flee and get out of there. That's how they got to Africa. And when they got to Africa, they had to flee and go deeper into Africa because the Romans were still chasing them when they got to Africa. So they had to go in the parts of Africa where the Romans didn't have any jurisdiction. They don't tell you all that. They just tell you that we African. When we're not even African. We don't even have the blood of Africans. The Africans, a true African will tell you, you're not African. I know who you are, but you're not African. Now, that's a bigger point for a whole nother video, but I had to say that part. But let me use this analogy to back up what I said. Just because you don't know something doesn't make it not true. So, say you're in your 20s. Say you're 20 years old, right? Somebody comes knock on your door, and they be like, hey, I'm your long lost brother or your long lost sister, right? You didn't know about this, so you like, okay, you just can't come up to me and just tell me after 20 years of my life that you're just my long lost brother, long lost sister. I need to see some proof. I need all the evidence. I need all the info to know that you're telling me the truth. After 20 years of my life, because my mom ain't told me about this, my dad ain't told me about this, so how do I know you're telling the truth? Right? But if that person's able to give you all the information, they're able to give you the birth certificate, the DNA, family tree, whatever the information is needed for you to know, to track that back, to know that that's your actual long lost sibling. That's the same thing with now. When they tell us, and what I meant to say too, because when that person comes to you, do you just with open arms say no or yes? You ask questions. Because the person just came to you, you're going to ask a question. So why now in these times when somebody tells us something, whether it's true or not true, why don't we ask questions to get the full breakdown on why it is what it is? When they just tell us that we African, why we don't never look for that information to find out that we actually are African? Because if we were actually to look all the way into that and look deep into that for real, you're gonna find out that your people came from Israel, that bloodline. It's so much research out here to show you that. So just because you've been in a religion or something for all these years, and now somebody come and tell you